Hey everybody, Brian McCumber here from TechMoneyTalks. I am excited because today we have someone who was highly recommended to be on the podcast from way down under. We are fortunate to have Ricky Hayes all the way from Australia as a special guest on the show. If you don't know who he is, then you're in for a special treat because Ricky is a former IT person that turned multi-million-dollar producer in dropshipping. If you're interested in starting an online business to make extra money, you better save this episode in your back pocket and listen to it over and over again because the stories and the tips you're going to learn here will give you the opportunity to quickly launch your own business to help your wallet grow fat. Ricky has been killing it in dropshipping and has been an e-commerce coach mentoring others how to successfully do the same. Ricky is a mastermind in Facebook advertising, and you can get a glimpse of his success through his YouTube channel where he's been dropping great value every week, and he is not holding back. Time is money, and everyone is looking to get a piece of his time, and I'm so happy to have him on the show today. Ricky, thanks for joining us, man. How's it going?
Well, thanks. What an intro. I'm just sitting here blushing a bit. It was dramatic.
Awesome. Yeah. How'd it go? Did I do okay in the intro?
You did very, very well. I was sitting here and really flustered. So thank you.
Awesome stuff, man. Hey, I'm excited. I'm glad that we could figure out our schedule for sure because I know we were coordinating, but hey, we're on opposite spectrums. I'm based in Chicago, and, you're based in Australia, and I guess that's pretty much on the other side of the earth. So, this is really awesome stuff, and really excited about having you on the show.
Thank
you for
me.
The audience, yeah, cool. So for the audience, I'd like to give you a chance to introduce yourself and share your journey into dropshipping.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So again, my name is Ricky Hayes. I've been doing dropshipping now for just over 2 years. I started when I was working in my 9-to-5 job, and I just wasn't that satisfied, if I was honest. And my initial goal with doing dropshipping was just to build a secondary income so that I could build on that and basically just live a bit more of a freer lifestyle without the shackles of being in a full-time position that I just wasn't finding much enjoyment on. Finally, sorry?
Yeah, I was agreeing with you. Yeah.
But funnily enough, throughout that journey, it took a long time. I still remember spending my first $1,000, and I had no success. And if I'm honest, I was pretty close to quitting because I thought, oh my gosh, $1,000. But
wow.
Fortunately, I had very good support channels, being my partner and friends, and they just had to keep going. And it took me 4 months before I got my first sale because that's how little I knew, and it was a big learning curve. It was at about that point that I had tested over 50 products, and at around that point, that's when I got my first proper winner, and I was able to scale that. Fortunately, that product and then subsequently other products to over $1 million in a month. So subsequently, then I've gone on to just continue learning, and I absolutely love it. Been a lot of ups and downs, but it's been a very fun journey. I can't deny that. I've been very fortunate to have met the people I have. I've started a YouTube channel and helped thousands of people across the world. Got my own group of people on Facebook, and my goal now is primarily to keep doing what I'm doing. I love building dropshipping stores, but I really want to take to the next level and build a brand, but I also just love helping people. So that's why I'm here to try and spread a bit of love.
Oh, that's totally awesome, man. Yeah. And much appreciated for you being on the show and sharing your journey. And I'm glad that you touched upon that, which is, it took you, 4 months to begin to see a glimpse of success. And the really cool thing is that you mentioned 50 products, like you tested products. So that means that you were testing and spending the thousands of dollars because, on the surface we'll look at the results, and maybe you could talk about the type of results that you're getting now as far as the numbers you're producing. When people look at that, they immediately think that it's like a get-rich-quick scheme. They don't realize that, you put effort and work into figuring it out. It's a really great opportunity, but you do need to treat it like a real business. So maybe you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So at the moment, I'm mainly focusing on just a couple of stores, a drop shipping store and my brand store. I do about 5K a day. Haven't hit obviously the numbers I
Wow.
did last year, which was ballistic to say the least. And I mean, quite stressful. I'll be perfectly honest, hitting those numbers, very, very stressful. But in relation to sort of what you said, what I sort of recommend to most people is starting out low. Like, don't get too caught up. One of the things that I personally struggled with the most when I started out, and it's still something that still goes on my mind, is don't get too caught up by the success of others. Just focus on your own. When I tested those 50
Yeah.
products, the thing I learned the most is it's not so much about trying to 100% copy everyone else. It's basically just trying to be consistent and just learning things each step of the journey. The thing that I've learned the most is that regardless how much knowledge I have, I still don't know that much. I'm always trying to learn more and more different strategies, whether it's Facebook, Google, my store, so on and so forth. So regardless where people are at their journey, you should always just take a step back and be proud of yourself, because being an entrepreneur and doing drop shipping, it's not an easy lifestyle. The thing that I'll be honest that I sort of see a lot is that it is promoted as a bit of an easy lifestyle, but the reality is if you want to take it as seriously as a real business, then you really have to put the work in, the same as anyone else would when they're building their own business.
Yeah, yeah, very well said. I mean, you touched on a lot of points, and hopefully the audience, catches on to that. Like, I mean, you're not competing against anybody else, and the numbers you can scale as high as you want to, as long as you're treating it and putting the work in like a real business.
Yeah,
But I
that's
mean,
right.
yeah, and it's like even if you're making hundreds of dollars per day or even $1,000 per day, I mean, that is awesome. That's real money for any regular person. I like to say that it's like for any regular person, that's great. Even if you're making that, we highlight people on the show that are really crushing it. I mean, even like yourself, you got some really awesome results. Crushing it. People immediately are attracted to learning and seeing the success that you have and that other people have. But it's not like you have to have that to at least enjoy, the results of what you can get out of drop. Glad that you touched on that.
No, I appreciate it, because I always like to promote as well that it's important that, yeah, no matter how much money you are making in your journey, you should be proud of that. And at the end of the day, the most important thing is you are actually making money. One of the things that I think is very important to touch on is it doesn't matter how much you make in sales, in, let's say, revenue, it's more how much is in your back pocket at the end of the day. So always important to keep that in mind too.
Yeah, very true. Very, and so that's awesome, and I like that you also touched on the topic of always learning, and especially in the space because, just like IT, like I don't know if I shared with you or if you caught on, like I've been in technology for about 20 years now since the dot-com boom, and I have my own technology company and done all forms of online business to prove out that it works, drop shipping being one of them. Just like technology, where things are always evolving and changing if you want to stay on the cutting edge. Drop shipping's been around since back then. Most and I interviewed some of these next gen entrepreneurs that are really young. They think drop shipping's been around only since Shopify has been around. And I'm like, no, it's been around since the dot-com boom and in the beginning of e-commerce. So, but the point I was going to get at is that it's been around since then, and it's been evolving since then, and always learning new things and things like that. So it reminded me of, could you describe for the audience deciding to leave your IT job?
Yeah, so I've was in IT for about 8 years at this point, and don't get me wrong, I love IT in many regards. The challenge is always different per thing, but I just
Yeah.
wanted something of a bit of a different challenge. And with drop shipping, I saw that challenge was completely different. I had to learn marketing. I didn't know any web development. That wasn't my expertise in IT. I had to learn Facebook ads. It was all very, very daunting. But the thing that I just sort of learned that kept me through it again was all my friends and contacts. And made a number of friends throughout this journey who are also doing drop shipping, larger numbers than me, whatever it may be. And having those people to support you through those tough times, because I had some very tough times personally, really, really helped. And on top of that as well, you share your strategies with one another, what's working, what's not working. Just since I started 2 years ago, the way you do drop shipping now has changed dramatically, where the expectations for to get customers and to please your customers has gone up dramatically. So we need to evolve with that as well.
Yeah, very true. And even like you said about different, tips and strategies evolving. So like I remember catching, one of your YouTube videos, and I think this was one of the most popular ones that you had, and it was related to the hacks, the checkout hacks that you applied. Maybe you could describe that for the audience. I thought that was awesome.
Thanks. So basically, the checkout hack was a method of being able to optimize your checkout. So for most people on a default Shopify plan, the base plan, we have the default checkout. With the checkout hack, you're able to modify it to make it so that you get a higher conversion rate at the checkout, and as opposed to just the standard one where it's very limited at this point in time to modify it, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I thought that was really awesome because I think you touched on that, and I haven't seen most people not talking about that, and then some of those subtleties in optimizing the process of your store can help out huge. It can have applying those type of hacks to the store. How much does that help? As far as the conversion rate goes.
It can help quite a lot, I've always found, whether it's on the product page, cart page, and the checkout. The real goal with all these little subtleties is to more work on trust with the customer that we come to expect. When we look at large known brands selling specific products, they use a lot of the same methods, let's say seen on some TV show, secure badges on the product page, customer testimonials, and just trying to help guide the customer in a comfortable journey. That the reality is that we have to make them feel comfortable to buy from us, because they don't want their purchase to be some form of potentially a scam or something that might cause them grief or something like that. Probably not the right word for it.
Yeah. No, very true. Yeah, I mean, there's so many factors and kind of the nature of, and I'm assuming most of the traffic that you're generating is through Facebook, so it's mostly the impulse buyer, and their attention span. You have a limited amount of time, so you basically want to put your best foot forward with your store. You want to make it as
exactly right.
Right.
Because in this day and age, there's so much content readily available, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, any social media platform or social networking platform, that to retain someone's attention and get them to buy from you then and there is a real skill to have. That's for sure.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. I'm glad that you touched on that for sure. So you know what? Let's talk a little bit about some drop shipping strategies. So even as like a start, so I notice different professional drop shippers have different approaches. Some do general store or a niche store or a single product store. What's been your approach?
Personally, I've preferred the approach of a niche store, where I combine the other techniques of the other techniques used from professional dropshippers. And so what I mean by that is that there are a number of key niches that are mostly the types of products that we can dropship, being things like baby, adventure, outdoor, kitchen items, household items, dogs, cats. And the approach I've generally taken is that you want to test your products on Facebook predominantly, is where most people start anyway. And once you have a winning product, I've always taken the approach of just building a landing page, which is the equivalent of having a one product store. So you don't need to make multiple stores. You just make a landing page through the various apps out there, and there's tons of them out there to help you with that. And so it'll help you to split test your pages and increase your conversion rates further as well.
Wow, I like that. Is there a particular do you create your own landing page from scratch like HTML, or do you use
No,
like
I'm
a
not that good at web
landing page?
development,
No.
but I use software. So the one that I use is called Gem Landing Pages. It's a very cheap and effective one. It has a lot of templates that pretty much a drag and drop. So I like that, and it integrates nicely with Shopify and the various apps I use for customer testimonials and that. So I can make new pages, test them, and split test them further. Because unfortunately, with Shopify pages by default, you can't do that. So we want to try and boost our overall sales by making some better quality landing pages.
Wow, that is awesome, man, for sure. And I actually want to recap this for the audience. So the audience, hopefully you're catching this what Ricky had just described. So what he's saying is that he has a Shopify store that's niche oriented, but outside of Shopify creates landing pages for each individual product that he's promoting. And with that landing page, it gives you that freedom to really paint that picture of how great the product is when the impulse buyer first arrives. And then from that landing page, when they're ready to click buy, and I'm actually curious about this too. So when they click buy, where does it take that customer next into Shopify? Is
So
it straight to the checkout? That checkout hack that you pointed out earlier?
generally, yeah. So generally, what I will do if I have a winning product is I will make my landing page and try and increase my average order value, which is basically trying to get them to buy more on that page. And then once they click the add to cart button, they can go straight to the checkout with my optimized checkout to go ahead and buy. The idea is to convince them to buy and then eliminate all steps that might otherwise cause any doubt or hesitation to get them to put in their card details as quickly as possible to lock in the sale.
That is really awesome. Yeah, that is a really great approach. One of the things that I wanted to bring up is that, and I noticed that on YouTube, you've been covering quite a bit of this, and I'm actually beginning to product test some of the products that you recommended through your YouTube channel. And thanks for doing that for sure. But on your YouTube channel, you've been talking about various winning products that are worth testing, and I think that's the key approach. So it's like once you get your process down, and every drop shipper, has their own approach. They find out what's comfortable for them. But at the end of the day, you're really, product testing. That's the one variable that you're going to continue to, test over and over again because there's product trends that continue to go throughout the year. But maybe you could talk a little bit about that as far as what you've been sharing on YouTube related to winning products.
Yeah, absolutely. So I try and give people winning products to help give them a bit of guidance as to what is defined as a winning product. Um, Generally, winning products for drop shipping are products that someone can have in their that will help improve their life in some way or fashion. So, if it's something related to how they might walk their dog or how they might care for their dog, it can save them time and energy, effort, money, any of those types of areas where we're going to have a positive impact on their life are the types of items that for dropshipping generally have a much higher viral opportunity of being able to trend upwards. And then you obviously have seasonal related items at different times of year, like in the United States being summer, a lot more beach, pool related items, outdoor camping, where people are more likely to be undertaking those activities and wanting to actually potentially buy those types of items.
That's awesome. Yeah. And the key factor there is like improving their life because that level of improvement has value to them. And if you can paint that picture where that product is giving them more value than the retail price tag that you're selling it for, and customers will just begin buying it. So That's just really awesome. So yeah, I'd say for the audience, definitely check out his YouTube channel because he's not only describing the process, but Ricky's also sharing some actual products that you could actually begin testing and current products that are working in 2019. So that's really awesome.
Better be quick because actually some people have messaged me that they've been promoting them and they've actually been already getting sales and scaling them, funnily enough, as well. So
Already get sales. That's awesome, man. That's great stuff. And yeah, and actually, speaking of scaling, maybe you could touch a little bit on that because the results that you've been getting is like really awesome. So what would be like a good ad strategy, like if you wanted to reach like those $1,000 days, or like what you said you're now running, $5,000 days.
So, to give a bit of a backstory, not to be boring, but to give a bit of a backstory, Facebook's changed a lot. Where it used to be predominantly looking at how to optimize based on the demographics being age, gender, location, whereas now in the current environment where we're at, it's a very competitive environment that we're in now. And so the thing that differentiates ourselves from others is what the customer sees, and that's the ad. So in order to scale now predominantly on Facebook, you need to be creative with your ads in what they see, because most people will see the same ads marketed from a number of different people. That's definitely a winning product, but they've already seen that ad from other people, and as a result, it makes it harder for you as the marketer to actually make that a product that will get you sales. So I've
Hmm.
found that now the way that Facebook ads predominantly works is it's about trying to make unique creatives that's going to get people interested of the same product that maybe other people are marketing, but in a different way to get them interested to buy from you, as opposed to the many of others marketing it also. And as a result of that, you reduce what's known as ad fatigue, which is becoming a bigger thing now, because people will copy other people's ads, and as a result, it allows you to get customers more cheaper to allow you to scale to higher numbers. Obviously, with actually making profit on the back end is the most important part.
And that's a really great point, and I'm glad that you mentioned that. And you could probably even speak to that too. So, like, what you could do 2 years ago. So, 2 years ago, people were, copying ads and throwing them out there, and getting good results. To try to do that today, yeah, it does seem like Facebook's algorithms is kind of wising up to, what are the same videos or pictures that are there. All of a sudden the results are not as profitable as it used to be.
Yeah, that's
So
the other thing to keep in mind, is because Facebook is drop shipping has become, if you have a look on Google Trends, you type in drop shipping, it's actually a trending thing right now, and it's just increasing. Um,
wow.
yeah, a lot of people are actually getting into drop shipping because of the amount of money that someone can make from it is quite substantial, and as a result,
Yeah.
competition's high, so we need to be a bit more creative with how we acquire customers now.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, really great point. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for mentioning that for sure.
Pleasure.
Man, this is awesome stuff. And so, one thing that I'm curious about. So, what does a day in your life look like? So, what are like some of the daily habits that you do as you run your business?
So for me, I like to wake up nice and early. For me, that's defined as 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm not sure if that's defined as early, but that's me.
Oh,
Um,
I'm typically up 4:30 in the morning, like, but I do a thing called the rise and grind where like I work out early morning, but that's just
uh,
me though.
I do my workouts in the afternoon. There's no way that I could do that in the morning. I struggle. Um, but generally, what I do is I'll wake up, and the most important thing I have a look at firstly is my ads and see how they're performing. Based on whatever's happened overnight. Um,
Yeah.
I'll work on that, and that's usually an hour or two, just to make sure that everything's going smooth. That I'm scaling the product, testing other products, making sure that's going well. It's usually about 9:30 that I would then start working with my customer service team to make sure that customer service is being handled, and there's any priority issues that are passed on to me are handled accordingly. And I'll start to speak with my private supplier to make sure that stock is being managed and sent to customers, and that obviously customers are going to get their packages within the time frame that's been stipulated to them. And it's usually about that time. That's probably, if I'm honest, probably about 10:30 after doing those morning sort of admin more tasks. I then do a bit of research myself on other products I want to market, have a few meetings with people and just discuss what the future is that I see of predominantly my brand, because that's a lot of my focus. Getting new creatives created for marketing. And I like to, at this point, I go for usually about a walk because it's about lunchtime. Have my lunch, go for a walk with my dog, relax for a little bit, usually about an hour, and then I get back into it. And in the afternoon, I like to work on Google Ads. It's a very, very intricate beast, but it's something I really enjoy as a new challenge, as well as trying to diversify a business. So I work for about an hour or two on that, whether it's just educating myself on new things or optimizing the ads I have in place. And then usually it's about 3 to 4. I always like to be on top of my YouTube channel, so I start planning out videos for my upcoming videos, YouTube videos, to make sure that I'm on top of that. I'm sticking to a strategy there. I'll go to gym at about 5 for a couple of hours, come home, have dinner, and then I personally like to switch off at that point and spend some time with my partner.
That's awesome. So yeah, I was curious. So working with Google Ads, have you found some like level of success?
It definitely is. The important thing to always understand with Google is that it's not going to garner instant results generally the same way that Facebook does. Hence why we all pretty much use Facebook, because we can get really quick results and scale really high really quickly, which is definitely something favored. But with Google, what I like about Google is I look at it as a diversification strategy, where I'm bringing in new customers, remarketing to them in different ways on different platforms to try and acquire customers in a more cheaper fashion. And personally for me, again, I always like to learn new things. So Google has always been something that's been very challenging, and I love those challenges, because then I love to actually just put that in my YouTube videos and teach people about it to help them learn, grow. In relation to the success, yeah, I can't say that I've gotten the numbers I have with Facebook, because Google is a lot more limited based on the way the platform is. It's definitely helped to bolster the business as a whole, and it's definitely been a successful marketing venture in all elements that I've ever pursued it in.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah. And that's cool that you've been, exploring that, because there have been, other, previous guests on the show where they, focus on Google Ads and have done it successfully. And yeah, I mean, it's just a thing where, it's a process of learning and, figuring out what worked.
I definitely
And
like with Google how once you mainly set it up, I like with Google how it's a lot more hands off. So gives you more time in the day to focus on other elements of your business.
That's awesome. And related to self-learning, so I think this is a key like success habit that you've been hinting, throughout this episode, which is, you you continue to learn and you continue to like self-educate, which is like, you're always, learning, evolving, things like that. What would you recommend, for the audience, say even like the newbie that's looking to get started, like the ways to learn and to get into this space?
Absolutely. So personally, I would recommend, if you are new to this and you're wanting to learn more about it, your best point of call is always YouTube. There's a ton of information on YouTube, but for any niche, drop shipping, Facebook ads, Google ads, helping you to find and determine winning products. And that's actually a lot of what my channel focuses on as well, trying to help teach you those skills. But absolutely all beginners, I would say, which would be best to start off on YouTube, get a feel for it, you're, in my opinion, always going to stumble and fall a little bit. But as long as you keep trying to educate yourself and stumbling, falling, and you'll start to get a bit more of a rhythm to it. And that's where I started, was YouTube, and that's where
Yeah.
I still watch a lot of YouTube to this day to learn from a lot of other professionals as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I mean, like you touched on, I mean, on YouTube and now, hearing from this episode, hopefully the audience is listening. The point of the podcast is to help highlight the professional drop shippers that have been keeping it real and to avoid the fakes and the scammers out there. And I do my best to try to do the research to highlight those individuals. So for the audience, like I said, I mean, one of the YouTube channels that you could dive into is Ricky Hayes, and he's been dropping a lot of value. And what's your schedule like as far as new videos that you're producing?
Generally, I like to produce about 2 or 3 videos a week. Generally, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's Monday, Wednesday, Friday for me. So in America, that's Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. Um,
Oh,
yeah, so I like to drop 3 videos a week on different topics to try and help keep people educated and teach them new ways to help learn, grow, and help their business, respectively.
that's awesome, man. 3 times a week. That is great stuff. And like I said, for the audience listening, I've checked out quite a few of the videos and, he's been delivering not only the strategies, but then even some of the current winning products that are there. And that's cool that, there's already people posting their success with the product. So that's, that goes to show great stuff is coming out of there too, which is awesome. So, one other thing that I just remembered that I wanted to touch on and to see if you were getting into the space is that I've noticed that, especially for the professional drop shippers that have been having some good volume, that using or kind of switching to like product sourcing. Have you been kind of venturing into that space?
Yeah, so generally, what I like to do is get a sourcing agent. There's plenty of ways to find them for those wondering whether the myriad of Facebook groups. I would recommend joining a number of them and trying to communicate with them. They usually add you on Skype, and they're very, very friendly people. Um, they can help you source the products, fulfill them faster, get cheaper. The products themselves are cheaper, and generally ship them faster. I'm also an advocate for also having stock yourself, so that you can do some fulfillment yourself. But generally, what most people are doing is getting a sourcing agent so that they can improve the product quality, the shipping, and reduce their overall expenses, because they're going directly to the warehouse as opposed to using AliExpress.
Wow, that's really awesome. And say for the drop shipper that's beginning to get some success, like, at what stage would you recommend that they look to pursue like a sourcing agent?
I would say that's a great question, actually. I would say I would try and actually get in touch with sourcing agents straight away, um, even before they start hitting 100, 200, $500 in sales, because you can start to build that relationship and discuss with them about how their process works, get to know their process. So when you do have a winning product, you sort of
Uh-huh.
already have a bit of a system in place that will allow you to easily continue to scale without too many hitches in place. And because
Yeah.
most of them are, they don't cost anything, especially if you get them from Facebook groups. There's no downside to opening up those communication channels in the beginning.
Awesome stuff. Yeah, no, that's great advice for sure. And hopefully the audience is catching on to that. Like there's so many options here as you grow. So from being from a newbie to getting some success, and then now once you start to have, volume with a winning product, how to be able to scale from there and make it a little bit more profitable. That's great stuff, man. Hey, you are dropping a lot of value on the show, and this has been really great. So I want to give you a chance to kind of give you some exposure of kind of the latest stuff that you've been working on. So I know that you have the YouTube channel that you've been delivering value. I did catch that you had a course that you have. Are you still promoting the course that you have? I think it was called Ecom Lifestyle University.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, so I have a course that's for people that want to invest in a course that's going to help them step by step to from beginner all the way through to advanced, all the way through to expert. Um, I update it every week. It takes me a bit of time again, but I like to add a
Wow.
couple of extra videos a week to continue to help the people who have already purchased. So I really enjoy that. It's definitely something for if someone is really serious and they want to take, I guess, what you can define as shortcuts. Then definitely a course like my course would definitely help them in their journey, that's for sure as well. However, I do always recommend to everyone, regardless, that my YouTube channel will definitely give you a lot of foundation to help you get started anyway.
That's awesome stuff. And I did catch, are you still doing one-on-one mentoring?
Yeah, I only take on a couple of students a month. I get a lot of people ask for that. That seems to be the go-to at the moment. Um, yeah, no, I do that, and it's a lot of fun. But obviously, because I have my own schedule and that, I don't want to take on huge amount of people because to me, quality over quantity is far more important at the end of the day. So I do
Yeah.
that, and I help a number of students, and I've been very fortunate to help the amount of people I have around the world already. It's been a real privilege of mine, in my opinion.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. No, and that's great that you're holding true to making sure that that you have the adequate time to give value to the individuals that are investing to work with you. And that's one of the things for the audience that hopefully they catch, and maybe you can help talk about that, which is the mentoring process itself. Other professional drop shippers that have been guests on the show all have a similar pattern where they all had a mentor in some shape or form, whether if it was on YouTube or that they learned from a course, or they had one-on-one mentoring. But they all had some form of a mentor to help get them to that next step, and then they kept growing and looking to take that next step. So I was wondering if you could speak a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've had uh, three mentors that I invested in that allowed me to learn what I have today as well. So it definitely was one of the key areas that allowed me to basically take the shortcuts to achieve the success that I have and continue to achieve. I do recommend everyone should have a form of mentor, um, and obviously that comes in a lot of different forms. But having some form of mentor or someone that's gone through it continues to go through it and can help you by the hand, basically, to continue your education and bring you to the next level is definitely very important. I look at it like the same reason that we go to university or college. You have your lecturers who basically are your mentors, helping to guide you to educate you, and it's the exact same approach here, just under different circumstances. So
Awesome stuff, man. Yeah, for sure. So, hey, for the audience, what's the best way for them to follow you?
Absolutely. So if they jump on YouTube and type in Ricky Hayes, I've got my YouTube channel there with over 150 videos, I believe. I can't actually remember. I've got a lot of videos there that I'm sure it'll help everyone in their journey, anyways.
Uh-huh.
And so they can just jump on there and watch to their heart's content to get started on their journey. So I really hope that helps them.
Oh, that's awesome stuff, man. Yeah, for sure. Well, hey, man, you dropped a lot of value on the show today, so I really want to thank you for your time. Oh, actually, I just remembered. Is it cool to follow up with you later in the year to see how things are going?
Absolutely, yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. I hope that everyone has enjoyed this. I can't deny I've been a little bit nervous, but it's been a good amount of fun. So thank you for having me on here. It's been an
Y-
absolute pleasure.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, for sure, man. That'll be great. So I want to give you a chance to leave some closing remarks with the audience. So I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, no worries. So once again, thank you so much for having me on the show. It's an absolute pleasure to actually be here. I really am passionate about helping people. It's something that I never actually thought that I would get into when I first got into this space, and I've had the very fortunate privilege of being able to help thousands of people across the world. I just want to encourage everyone to please always be proud of where you're at in your journey. Always be proud of yourself. It is a lot of work, so you should always reflect on what you've learned, what you've done, what you'll always do. Keep working harder and harder. You're going to see great results from your hard work. You don't know where it's going to lead you, just like how I didn't expect this to lead me to being a podcast. So I'm very, very fortunate there. Always keep in mind that education is the key to your success. The same as, again, if you're applying for a job, always educate yourself and always be mindful of that. No matter how much we learn, we can always learn more. I recommend everyone to have a look at my YouTube channel. Again, just search Ricky Hayes on YouTube. There's tons of videos there that you can watch. It's going to help you from beginner through to advanced, whether it's making a Shopify store, your Facebook ads, finding winning products, giving you winning products, Google ads, the work. So you're going to have plenty of stuff to sit down and binge watch. So I hope you really enjoy that. So once again, thank you everyone for listening, and thank you for allowing me to be on the show.
Really awesome stuff, man. Awesome stuff. Great value. Ricky, thanks again, brother. Yeah, appreciate your time.
Pleasure. Take care.
So I want to thank you for listening to this episode of Tech Money Talks. I hope everything was helpful and thought-provoking and somewhat entertaining. If you want to learn more about this topic, please let me know so I know what to focus on in future episodes. My goal is to teach people how to make money with the opportunities that technology can bring. And if you like this episode, please show your support by subscribing, leaving an awesome review. And in the meantime, you can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. My tag name is Tech Money Talks. Thanks again. I'll talk to you in the next episode. Peace.